Hi everyone, welcome to another A Year in Cards class. This month we're going to be making some friendship cards that are single layer or one layer cards. And because they're one layer, we're going to use a lot of stamps and ink and sort of three different techniques to get an interesting card design but have it be a single layer. I'm going to be using a bunch of different stamps. Here's one from Hero Arts. This is their Friends. Let's see, I think it's Friends Sayings stamp set. This is this is Little Yellow Bicycle Friends. This is Sassafras Lass Trims and Things. Hero Arts Designer Wood Grain, and American Crafts. I believe this one is called Just a Note. So let's get started. So the first thing I'm going to do is I have some green cardstock here. I'm going to fold in half and score. This is a 4 1/4 inch by 4 1/4 inch card. And the first thing we're going to do is stamp a border across the front. I'm using a border from Sassafras. I'm going to use this one right here. Okay, and I'm going to have it sort of come across the middle. You'll see why in a minute. Okay, and the reason I only had it, I came across halfway is because I'm planning to cut a window in this card. You can use whatever cutting system you like. This is just a Colossal. Okay, and I'm going to be cutting it. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Make sure I have it. Okay. And you can just use your scissors to cut it. This is why I didn't worry about the middle, because I knew it was going to be cut out. Okay, I've got a piece of acetate here, or a transparency sheet I just got from an office supply store. I'm just going to stamp this You're in My Thoughts in StazOn ink really carefully because it'll slide a little bit sometimes. Just like that. I'll put that one right above. I'm actually going to have it overlap a little bit. When you're stamping on acetate, it can be pretty messy just because it's a slick surface. So you just have to slow down and be really careful. See, this one, it has a little bit some ragged edges. I would actually prefer it to be more clean, but I'm doing what I can. And I'm going to cut out a circle. And this time I'm going to have it be 6 rings from the center because I want it to be the perfect size to go inside that window. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, and then you can kind of see it taking shape. It's eventually going to go in like that. So before we do that, we need to put down some glue on the inside. I'm just going to use a liquid glue. This is the Mono Multi Liquid Glue. Just a really thin ring around that window. Okay. And turn it over so I put it on correctly. Okay, one of the last things I'm going to do is I'm going to take these little heart gel stickers from Heidi Grace. I'm just going to put some pink hearts there in the center of the flowers. Okay, and there's the first card. For card number 2, I'm going to be using this stamp set from Little Yellow Bicycle. And it looks to me like when I first saw it, it'd be really great layering stamp. So this makes it really great for single layer cards and things like that, and to use different colors of ink. I'm going to use this True Friend and also this flower down here. I'm going to start out with the flower. Put it on my block. Ink that up. I'm going to spread this out there. Okay. I'm actually going to start in the middle near the bottom. It's going to be really light color. That's the thing you want to remember when you're layering stamps, is always have one of the colors be lighter, usually the one that you don't want to be the most dominant color. Forgot to say this card is actually 5.5 inches tall by 3.5 inches wide. For this card, to make it interesting, to eliminate too many layers, I'm using repetition with this flower stamp. When you guys work on your cards for this class and you upload them, this will be one of the options you have, is to create a card with repetition. Which is super easy to do with stamped images. I'm going to use some espresso ink. Get that inked up and juicy. Okay, pretty good. All right, just right above. Okay, what I'm going to do now is I'm changing my pawn a little bit. I'm going to make this a square card as well, like the first card. I'm just going to cut it off the top and cut it off the bottom. It'll probably end up to be around 3.5 inches by 3.5 inches. Okay, so there's the card. I'm going to use the We Are Memory Keepers Corner Chomper, Corner Rounder, just to round these edges. So it'd be a really cute card to include with like a treat or something that, you know, that you've made for your friend. There you go. And the last thing I'm going to do is just go around the edges with this white gel pen. Okay. And there's card number 2. Another way you can make a one layer or single layer card is to do a bit of masking. And I'm going to show you how to do it with this card right here. The first thing I'm going to do is I have this Just a Note to Say Hello stamp. This is from American Crafts. And I'm just going to stamp it right there in that area. However, before I do that, we're going to start with creating the mask layer. And this is just a Post-it. It's got a little bit sticky on the back. You need something really thin. That's why I chose a Post-it. So I'm going to start out by stamping. This is just the ink that I'm going to be using on the card later, so I have it handy. And since this is just for the masking part, I'm not too concerned about it. Just stamp that on there. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take a pen or a marker or a pencil or something, and I'm just going to draw my shape that I'm actually going to have masked out. And I kind of want this to look like a little or big conversation bubble. And you're just going to cut your shape out that you want. If you can get most of your masked image over the adhesive, mine's just got a little bit of adhesive at the top. So I'm actually going to take some removable adhesive and add that to the bottom, and to just make sure it's not going to move. Okay, normally you would do your, like, I would do this stamp right here, then I put this over top, and then I'd have a third stamp over top. But I'm actually going to do embossing later, and I don't want any, like, well, you'll see. Okay. Place that right there. Okay. Okay, next I have this designer wood grain stamp from Humor Arts. I'll just get this inked up. I'll just place my card right on there. I just have a brayer. You could just use your fingers and just go over it really well, but since I happen to have this out on my desk, I thought, why not? Okay. Alright, so put all that wood grain onto the front of the card. Okay, and then you can take your mask and just peel it right off. So it leaves that spot. Okay, now this is where we're going to do a little bit of stamping. Normally, you would have stamped this first and then the big wood grain, but I'm going to do some embossing on this. In order to do that and get it in the exact spot I want, I'm going to get my stamp positioner or Stamp-A-Majig ready. That I'll use to stamp this part. And I want just a note to say hello right there. Okay, perfect. Okay, I've got some white embossing powder. Okay, so the last thing we need to do for this card, so I'm going to take a white gel pen and I'm going to draw in. Actually, first what we're going to do is take the corner jumper. Do some rounded corners. I'm going to do all four. Okay, now I'm going to just go around this little conversation bubble and I'm just going to draw in the lines. Okay, and then I'm just going to go around the outside as well. Okay, there's the third card, and here's all three. They're all single layer cards. And super easy, lots of stamping, and really fun cards to send to friends. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys over at the message boards.